Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm in my comfy kind of lounge wear instead of my yoga clothes today because we're going to do something a little bit more gentle, right? A little bit sleepier, a little bit easier on the body, right? It's all about finding more space within the body. And that maybe can then translate off the mat into finding a little bit more space in our lives. And I know it sounds a little bit, should we put it, esoteric maybe, to put it that way. But if we can practice that on the mat, then we can practice it off the mat. You're going to want a dowel today, or a broom handle, or whatever else you can find. And we'll use it to get into the muscles of the neck a little bit. Maybe somewhere else too, if I'm feeling so inclined. Anyway, so if you don't have one of those, go ahead and grab yourself a broom handle. Rolling pin could work as well. Yeah, just anything that you'd be able to use on your neck. So we're going to put it off to the side to start, and then I'm going to find a tall seat. So I'm going to sit up on this chip foam block. Just gives me a little bit of lift so that my hips aren't quite so crunched as I'm sitting on the floor. If you're used to sitting on the floor without any props or pillows underneath you, then by all means sit any way that you'd like to. You could be on your shins, or you could have your legs outstretched. You can even lie down if you want to start with. And then I'll invite you to close your eyes. And for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, gentle sigh. Blow the breath away. Not too deep, not too strenuous. Then continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Notice how your breath is flowing, if it feels really open and spacious. Or maybe with a change of weather, you feel a little bit of sticky or choppy spots along the way. If so, you might gently try to lengthen through those parts just to smooth your breath out a little bit more. With every inhale, imagine your spine lengthening from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. With each exhale, a gentle softening of your front body. Inhale to find length, and exhale to soften. It's not about clenching or being really super stock straight here. It's just about finding that little bit of lift, but also the ease. One way to think about it is stability and ease. In the Tao Te Ching, the master talks about how we can be like the mountain, strong and stable, but at the same time be like the river flowing down it. Strength and fluidity, stability and ease. Last few moments here. And then gently bring your chin toward your chest. And start to do very gentle little half moon circles. So you never look up to the sky, the chin stays down the whole time. And the next time that you bring your right ear to your shoulder, pause there. You might stay here. You might extend the left fingertips away from you on the floor. Some of you may add gently the weight of the right hand to your head to find even more length and release through the left side of your neck without yanking or pulling. And then maintaining that lateral flexion in your neck, gently rotate your nose toward your shoulder, tuck the chin under slightly. And then now we're stretching still the left side, but more posterior on the neck. If you have your hand on your head, release it. Bring your ear back to your right shoulder. And then this one's a little bit tricky to get into. We're going to get into the front side of the neck. So turn your chin up toward the sky, but on an angle. So you're looking up and to the left, and then tuck the chin under and back slightly. So you're going to get a really great double or a triple chin. But you're going to start to feel this along the front of the neck a little bit more. So you're not reaching up or tucking the chin under while looking up on an angle. Sternocleidomatostoid is what we're trying to get to here, or the SCM for short. And then gently, slowly release your chin to your chest. Couple loops of the shoulders up, back, and down. And then come back to those little gentle half moon circles of the neck. And then notice if one side feels different to the other. And the next time you bring your left ear to your shoulder, pause there. Again, you might stay here depending on how that feels on your neck on the right side. Maybe you reach the right fingertips away from you on the floor. Then you could even gently add the weight of the left hand to the side of your head if you wish. Again, without yanking or pulling your neck or your head. Still feeling that little bit of lift through the spine, but no gripping. Lots of ease. Couple more breaths here. And then again, maintaining the lateral flexion, rotate your nose toward your shoulder, tuck your chin under slightly. And then we're getting the muscles more on the back of the neck, but still on the right side. In particular, the levator scapulae. Right, so the muscles that lift the shoulder blades. The shrug muscles, upper trapezius. One more breath here. And if you have your hand on your head, gently release it. Come back to the lateral flexion, left ear to shoulder. And then we're going to try and do that thing where you get the front. So rotate your chin or your vision to the top right, and then tuck the chin under slightly. And sometimes it's a little bit tricky to find. You might have to move your head around a bit, but you don't want to lift the chin, right? It's about tucking the chin to find the length here. And if you don't find it right away or at all, don't worry about it. It's tricky. We're only going to be here for a couple more breaths. And then gently release, chin to chest, couple breaths. Loop of the shoulders, up, back, and down. Couple little half moon circles of the neck. And then let's move through some seated cat and cow. So inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, round through your spine. Inhale to wrap the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart up to the sky. And exhale, round, pull through the shoulder blades. So a few more of these undulations on your own time, on your own breath. And allow it to be really fluid, really unctuous. And then slowly come back to center. As you inhale, bring your right hand up to the sky, left fingertips out to the side. Exhale, a little side bend over to the left. Make sure that left shoulder isn't up by your ear. We just released that space. And then send your right sit bone to the floor a little bit more as you reach the right fingertips away. You could press the left fingertips away from you to puff out the ribs on the right side. And then spiral those upper right ribs open to the sky. As you inhale, come all the way back up. We'll switch sides. Right fingertips come to the earth. Inhale the left arm high. Exhale over to the right. So again, maintain lots of space through the neck, around the ears. You might press the right fingertips a little bit further away from you. And then root the left sit bone down. Spiral the upper left ribs open to the sky. You don't have to look up. You could look forward or down. It doesn't matter. Whatever feels best on your neck. And inhale all the way back up. Shake it out a little bit. Let's do a little bit of twisting. Inhale the arms high. As you exhale, start to twist to the right. So bringing the left hand forward, right hand behind you. You might even bring one hand to the knee. You could bring your right hand to your low back, or maybe even press it, the fingertips into the floor to find a little bit more lift and length here. With every inhale, think of lifting through the spine. With every exhale, maybe you deepen the twist. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. So left hand goes behind you. Right fingertips come forward or to the leg. And again, make sure that the spine stays nice and long, nice and tall. Inhale to find length, exhale to twist. Getting a good look at my books here on the shelf. And then inhale, come back to center, release, shake it out, whatever you need to do. And then grab your dowel or your broom handle or whatever it is that you'll be using for this next little bit. So one little proviso is that this is a blunt instrument, and I don't want you to be rolling the very back of your neck where the spinous processes are of the vertebrae, right? The parts that jut out. You don't want to accidentally snap something off. Let's not get into too much detail about what you could do. So we're always going to keep it on an angle, right? On the left side, it'll be forward. On the right side, it'll be forward. We've done this before, but I just want to make sure. I'm going to spin around so that you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll start on whatever side you like to. I'm going to start on the right side. You're going to bring the dowel up and behind you, and then roll it down. You can start up quite high. You want to pause right when the dowel hits the lip at the base of the skull. Now here you can come a little bit flatter, but I'm still pressing the right side forward a little bit more. And there's that space at the base of the skull. That's called the suboccipital, or just below the occipital ridge, where the suboccipitals, the muscle group, are. I was about to say live, I guess. Anyway. And these muscles not only help attach your skull to your neck, but also control, partially, eye movement. So you could even close your eyes and kind of look around in circles, and you might even feel some feedback into the dowel, depending on how tight you are today. So a few more breaths here. And then slowly start to roll down. So maybe 1 centimeter or so at a time. Again, keep this dowel on an angle. And then the idea is not to roll up and down your neck, right? You're not rolling out pastry. We're just finding these points of interesting sensation and putting a little bit more pressure into them. And then roll down a little bit more. You can do this at your own pace. Maybe you pause the video or go faster and fast forward it, whatever you would like. And then the further down you get, and the meatier that area becomes, right? The more muscle groups there are, the stronger the muscle groups are. So you can start to put a little bit more oomph into it. You could press down or really pull down, particularly once you get to where the neck attaches to the shoulder girdle or to the torso. And really you can kind of pulse back and forth, still keeping it on an angle, right? You don't want to hit those cervical vertebrae, at least not on the spinous process, not right on the back. Okay, and then release the dowel. And for a couple breaths, just close your eyes and notice how you feel from one side to the other. And then we'll switch sides. So grab your dowel again. I'm going to go to the left side. And then bring the dowel all the way up. And again, roll it down just till you feel that lip, and then pause there, right underneath the base of the skull. And it's common for one side to feel tighter than the other. That's totally normal. You might not need to spend as long on the suboccipitals on this side than you do on the other, or than you did on the first side. Or maybe you need to spend longer, right? That's the beauty of these sort of video classes, is you can really take them at your own pace. Last few breaths here. And then ever so slowly start to roll down one little bit at a time, pausing on the spots that feel sensational. And then rolling down a little bit more. Moving on your own pace. And again, the further down you get, the more oomph, the more welly you can give it. And maybe you start to press down or even hang the weight of your arm on the dowel. I think I was saying right and left in a weird way for you. It doesn't really matter what side you start on. And then when you're done, gently release the dowel. off to the side, and then pause. Right, notice how you feel from one side to the other. And then gently flicker your eyelids open if they were closed. Again, if you have something to sit up on, this is a really great place to sit up onto something. We're going to do a little bit of butterfly. So bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide. We're forgetting about the neck for a little while. If you have pillows or blocks, this is a lovely place to bring them underneath your knees to give yourself a little bit of support. Right, it all depends on how high up your knees are. And then try not to hold on to your toes, right? You don't want to lift up on them. It just creates a sickle in the foot. So if you wanted to, you could think of opening the soles of your feet like a book, or you could interlace your fingers between your toes, and then you get a nice stretch for the fascia of the soles of the feet. Whatever you end up doing, inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, come forward on a long line first. So the spine stays really long. See how that feels on your low back. And then maybe, if it feels all right, you start to round forward. And it never matters how far forward you go or how deep you go. You could always prop underneath your forehead. And you're welcome to stay in that really active variation with the long spine, or maybe you join me in the more passive variation with the rounded spine, getting lots of flexion through the spine, opening up through the low back as well as the groin. A few more breaths here, slow and sweet. And then slowly as you inhale, bring your hands underneath you. Gently press yourself back up to seated. You can bring your hands behind you or use your hands underneath your legs. Take your feet apart and do a little windshield wiper of the knees. And the next time that your knees are over to the right, keep the right shin in front of you. You might scooch a little bit so that the left shin can go out to the side. And here, get really curious, get really playful even. You might come forward over top of that front shin. You might rotate so that your torso is parallel to the femur here, and you fold over top of your thigh. Maybe you lift that left sit bone a little bit more and twist to the right. So wherever you need to go, take, and then again, slowly start to settle in. Maybe you have lots of pillows that you could bring underneath your face, or if you have a yoga block, you could rest. If you don't, sometimes I will put my hands in prayer and rest my forehead on my thumbs. Or just allow the weight of the head to hang. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly, on your inhale, press yourself back up to seated. Swing that left leg forward. Bring the sole of the right foot inside the left leg. Sit nice and tall. Again, this is a really great place to sit up on a block or a folded up towel. Your left leg can be deeply bent. You might even bring a block or a towel underneath the back of that knee. Inhale here and exhale, slowly walk yourself forward. Again, try to think of at the start broadening through the collarbone, so almost leading with your heart, spine long. See how that feels. If it feels all right on the low back, then by all means, feel free to round forward. At any point, if you feel pain, back out a bit. One thing that I really like doing is taking my right hand to the outside edge of that left foot and getting that stretch all along the arm and the back as well as the hamstrings. Last breath here. And then slowly inhale, walk yourself back up to seated. Swing your right leg forward, shake it out a little bit, or windshield wiper the knees. And then bring your left shin in front of you, right shin out to the side. Again, for that 1990 stretch, maybe you come over top of the shin, over top of the femur, or you could twist around to the back. You never have to do the same variation from one side to the other, right? We all have different muscular imbalances. So go where you need to go. Prop as you need to prop. And then with every exhale, settle a little deeper. Last couple breaths here. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders as you inhale slowly. Press yourself back up. Swing your right leg forward. Bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of that right leg. Lift nice and tall. And then start to come forward on that long line. And you might stay propped up or stay with the long line in the spine. Or maybe you start to round forward, walking the upper body forward slowly. You could always take your left hand and grab the outside edge of the right foot if you wish. Last breath here. And then slowly inhale, walk yourself back up. Unwind the legs, shake them out a little bit. And then gently roll down onto the floor, onto your back for your pose of rest. One last thing before we rest. Just hug your knees toward your shoulders or armpits, little rock from side to side. You could stay here or kick your feet to the sky. for happy baby. Maybe grabbing the backs of the thighs or somewhere along the ankles, the legs or the feet. And then if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, please feel free to take it. It can be a posture, it can be meditation, and get super cozy. Once you've found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, gentle inhale through your nose, and exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more. With every exhale, allow your body to melt a little bit deeper into the earth. Let go of all breath control, all muscle tension or gripping, particularly in the face, the neck, and the jaw. Stay longer here if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.